You got extreme examples, like in Argentina, poised to surpass Venezuela with a 200% inflation crisis. You can't fix inflation without very difficult times. It's going to happen. That's the only way. You have to have that pain, just like you got to rip that Band-Aid off. It's got to happen. Because when you print all the money, when you print all that money, you got a problem. When you devalue your money, you will pay the price. You suffer the consequences. Never allow them, with a straight face, never allow them to get away with the devaluation of your currency one way, shape, or form. You're going to pay. You pay directly through taxation, where they're doing this thing. It's called income tax, where you work real hard, but you don't get paid until July. You got to think of it like that. Don't think of it as, a lot of my paycheck came out. You work for free. You go to work every single day in traffic, dealing with your boss, dealing with all this, and you don't get paid until July 1st. That mentality. You got to understand what that is. You got slave labor going on the first half of that year. And if you put yourself into that perspective, that should make a little shift as to, what I'm doing here, is this the best thing that I can be? Should I be looking around and trying to find, other streams, other solutions?
And here comes the pain. I want to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. I want to give double honor to the apostles, bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, beginning with the 144,000. Shalom, I'm Brother Yawanadon, back with another quick lesson. Lord willing, it's edifying. And you see the clip. All right, there's a lot of rumors about the recession for March of 2024. A lot of things are supposed to be going down, and we know that Davos, 2024, the World Economic Forum, they're about to have their little meeting, I believe on Monday, January 15th, 2024, the year of Jacob's trouble. And that's very well Jacob's trouble, man. Once they bring that great reset of this economy, once they digitalize the economy, which this economy is wrecked because it's a fiat-based, debt-based economy. And see, the so-called white man and his craft, Esau, Edom, that's his biblical nationality, the devil and Satan of the Bible, starting with the banking families, the elite international banking families such as the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, etc. They created this system to enslave you people through debt. And they're using biblical principles to do it, all right? Because yes, in the Bible, if you owe a man, when you go to Exodus 21, if I'm not mistaken, you got the laws on slavery. All right, slavery of a Hebrew servant, which would be a fellow brother, one Israelite to another, so-called Black, Latino, Native American, you're the true Hebrew Israelites. And we have laws and customs in our Bible, in our culture, where if a man owes you money, all right, he could work to basically pay that off, to pay off what he owes you. So that's what what they would call a debt slave. And according to the Bible as well, you're supposed to release every man of his debt every 7 years. If he wasn't able to pay you back within the 7-year time frame, you had something called a year of jubilees. Now, does a so-called white man practice the year of jubilees? Hell no. All right, so he's a hypocrite and he's the devil, because he uses the Bible to justify enslaving the whole world through debt. All right, that's how he did it, through the interest rates, all right, and through inflation of overprinting. You don't call it money. This is not money. What we're using is not money. The Bible calls money gold, silver, and cattle. That's what the Bible says money is. Because money has to be something intrinsic. It can't be something that a man can manipulate its value. It has to be intrinsic, meaning it has to be something that has its own value, which is basically where you get a trade and barter system from. All right, where something that people can't manipulate. Gold, you can't manipulate gold. The earth produces gold. You can't produce any more gold. All you can really do is water it down, but then it doesn't have the same value no more, because they start mixing metals and you know, that's what the so-called white man been doing since the beginning, even since the Roman Empire, when they started breaking the currency down, the dinero. They was mixing it with other metals. Even in America, you used to have the old coinage, which nobody really used coins like that no more. But back in the days, you had the coinage in which the coin was actually worth money because it was a precious metal. It wasn't just worth money because we just believed it was worth money, or because the so-called white man said this is a nickel or this is a quarter and this is worth this. It actually had its own value. And then they stopped using that as well. And then they started giving you worthless paper bills. You got a paper bill, you got $100 bill, right? The blue bills, that's what everybody likes. Well, guess what? It doesn't even cost $100 to produce a $100 bill. So how is that money? It doesn't even cost $1 to produce and to print a $1 bill. All right, so this shit is sick, and it's really meant to confuse you. Just like Elder Apostle Tahar was saying recently, after camp, he was speaking to us about how, you know, even financial, I don't know what to call these people, but, you know, people that are all into the economy and, they're into the stock markets and all that. They don't really truly understand what inflation is, what the definition of inflation is, which is basically a basic definition. But how does it affect the economy? How does it, this guy just explained it, man. We're going to end up with 200% plus inflation here in America. All right, very soon things is going to be unaffordable. The money is going to be so devalued, especially when the BRICS nations officially launch their currency, because that's still, you know, in the works and rumors, and, you know, they keep giving you dates and then they keep pushing it back. So, you know, we're excited and we're watching as we're supposed to be. We're hastening the day of Yahushua, but we got to be realistic and pay attention to these things too, man. Because basically the video clip that I showed you, if you actually watch the whole video, it says, why is everyone wrong about the recession? And he was explaining because the statistics, it doesn't show a recession. There's only very few statistics that show a recession. And guess what the main one is? The consumer price index, in which is basically how affordable are things for us, the consumers, the people. And we're the only ones that could say that. They could put it on paper and say, well, the numbers are looking great, but we fucking poor, man. We can't afford nothing. We struggling, working all these extra fucking hours for nothing, man. See, that's why the system got to crash. And that's why Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to bring that time of Jacob's trouble, man, to destroy this goddamn kingdom. Yeah, it's the time of Jacob's trouble for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You represent, or, you know, Jacob represents you, the nation of Israel. But it's going to be everybody's trouble here in America, man, because this economy is going to fail. That fiat-based system that you so used to trusting in, that systematic, oppressive, debt-based economy is going to crash, because they want it to crash, because they're bringing in the updated system. They're going to reset everything, just like when your phone needs an update, your computer, excuse me, your if you have a PlayStation 5, even your TV, if you got a smart TV, every once in a while you get the notification that it needs an update. And what does it say after it's done updating? It says the update will process once your TV resets, once it turns off and turns back on. So that's when the reset actually takes place. All right, the update. And that's all they're doing. They just updating this wicked system. They're not bringing in no better system. That's how they're trying to portray it with the CBDCs, and, you know, it's going to be safer. It's going to be more privacy. It's going to be better, faster, you know, more secure, more convenient. But it's more slavery. That's all it is, man. They're trying to imprison you in some digital world, you know, in like a metaverse type of society. All right, so the money is not real. Money was never real under these devils, man. It was always a plan to just basically what they call a debt slave, a wage slave. You just work just to make enough to just stay alive, to work more. All right, we're supposed to be working to live. We're not supposed to live to work, if that makes sense. Your work is supposed to be your life. The scripture tell you that in Sirach 34, that the bread of the needy, you know, is his life, and the hire of the laborer, that's how he survives. That's how he earns his wages to live. Meaning what? You're supposed to have your land. You're supposed to be working for yourself. You're supposed to till your own land, you know, plant your own crops, take care of your own cattle. That's the way that things are supposed to be. That's true money. When you have true riches or wealth, because rich, that's a word that gets thrown around loosely that really doesn't have any meaning anymore. It just means you have a lot of FRN notes. No, true wealth is a substance, man. And that's what these devils did. They took all you people's substance and replaced it with a fucking piece of paper, with a federal, a Federal Reserve note or a debt note. A piece of paper that really just symbolizes that you owe the central bank money. That's all it is. That's what the paper represents. When you borrow that, when your government, you know, all these nations that got league with central banks and they borrow money from the central bank with interest on it, sometimes, yeah, the interest rate is 0. So you don't owe anything, but sometimes they raise it up 1%, 2%, 4%. They manipulate it. They change it at will based on what? How the economy's doing, how are the statistics and the numbers, how is the PPI doing, how is the GDP doing. That's how they manipulate things, man, to basically oppress people and keep them low, keep the poor, and keep the wealthy, because they the ones that have the resources. They got the lands, they got the cattle, they own all of the corporations, they own everything that we need to survive. They fucking own it, and we have to pay them in their fake ass currency to get it. Jake, you got to realize what system you in. You're in captivity right now, man. Yahweh Bashim Awashai, yeah, he's freeing us from our captivity. He's getting ready to turn our captivity, all right, and give us the power to rule. And we're not going to rule like this wicked ass devil did, man. But guess what? It's not over. It's about to get much worse, man. Here comes the pain. Lord willing, in this year, 2024, man. Because you Israelites, you need a fucking reset too. You 2/3 Israelites, you need a reset. You need death. That's the only thing that's going to fix you wicked Israelites. All right? Yahweh Shai already shed his blood. He's not doing it again. And y'all don't believe in Yahweh Shai. Y'all don't believe in the power of his blood. All right? That he is the one that the Heavenly Father ordained to be the salvation of the nation of Israel. Y'all want to be saved by the way of the so-called white man's means. All right? You think you're going to be able to shelter yourself from this economic collapse. You're not going to be able to do that. All right? All you Israelites are going to feel this time, man. The scriptures tell you that. And one that I did want to read, I'm putting scriptures up on the screen because I'm going to end up post-producing this. My phone ended up shutting off. You know, I was doing it on my other phone. Now I'm using the camp phone to do this lesson. But I had a few scriptures that I wanted to show on the screen as I was speaking. First one obviously being Jeremiah 30. Jeremiah 30 and 7. All right, the time of Jacob's trouble. Tell you there was never a time like this in history. It's going to be so bad. And the Lord said he's only going to save his elect out of that time. But then when you go to Ezekiel 7 and 19, it's speaking about, you know, the last days, speaking about these troubling times. And the 19th verse says, they shall cast their silver in the streets and their gold shall be removed. And you could say that's literal, because literal silver and gold, which is actual money, you know, good money, so to speak, true substance, it's still not going to do nothing for you in this time when they do what they do. When the so-called white man, you know, brings this great reset and crashes this economy, it's still not going to do nothing for you, because you can't walk into Walmart or go on Amazon and use silver and gold to trade or, you know, to barter or purchase things. What's going to be the thing that everyone has to use to buy and sell, to purchase? The chip, the mark of the beast, the RFID microchip implant. So this is why they're setting the stage for economic collapse, to collapse this current system, all right, so that they can so-called rebuild and institute the digital system, which is the same. It's still the same infrastructure. If you really understand it, it's the same infrastructure. It's still the same thing as far as what? It's not real money. It's just numbers on the screen. At least before, you know, at least like currently right now, that's why they got that quote, cash is king. That's bullshit. But they say cash is king. It's a substance. It's still, even if it's worthless, it's still an actual paper bill. Even if it might not be worth anything, it's still something that you can touch. And, you know, you got people that save up money. They don't trust the bank, so they put their money in cash. But guess what? In those days, those physical paper bills, they're not going to be worth anything. And likewise for gold and silver, it's not going to really get you nowhere. All right, it'll get you a little advantage over like you know, somebody who doesn't have silver and gold, so to speak. But remember, in order for your silver and your gold to be worth anything in this society, it has to be worth something in money. They'll say, oh, the spot price for gold is, you know, such and such amount per ounce. So you're going to have to eventually convert your silver and gold into CBDC if you want to actually, you know, have a chance of surviving these times, because that gold and silver is not going to really be worth anything outside of the economic system, because you have to basically translate your wealth, whether you have physical paper money, whether you got a bank account with a bunch of numbers on the screen that doesn't exist because of fractional reserve banking. You look at your Chase bank account, it says you have 1,000. You don't really get that. The bank doesn't have your physical $1,000 in the bank with your name on it saying this belongs to this person. All right, it's just a number. You're eventually going to swipe your card in the store or shop online, and that money is just going to deduct as like a mathematical equation, as some type of programmable numbers. It ain't actual substance. All right, so yeah, in those days, people that do have silver and gold, that don't have intelligence and wisdom and really understand what the fuck is happening right now in these last days, that shit is not going to be worth anything to them. They're going to see it as worthless. It said, and their gold shall be removed, their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. And I'm going to read in the NLT. It says, they will throw their money in the streets, tossing it out like worthless trash. And that's what's happening. That's what de-dollarization is. That's what devaluing of a nation's economy is, or currency is. It's basically inflation, hyperinflation. All right, printing more money, making the money that already is in circulation worthless, man, worthless trash. All right, that's why it's costing so much money to get things that didn't used to cost that much. It's not because the price of the item is going up. Most people don't really understand these concepts, man. They don't really understand how manipulative this society is, this economy is. All right, it's not based on, oh, how much is this worth? It's based on how much the money is worth. And yes, you do have things like shrinkflation. What else do they call it? Shrinkflation and stagflation, in which, yeah, when actual product, you know, services and things like that go up in price. I mean, excuse me, it goes up in price because you have less of it. They basically to say supply and demand. All right, that's an easy way to say it. That is a real thing. All right, but what's happening right now is not a case of that. These devils have all the resources, man. They have all the gold and silver. They got everything we need. Everything that man needs on this earth to live, they fucking control it and manipulate it. All right, so we're at the end of this thing. This can't go on for much longer, man. This is a wicked ass economy, and the Lord is not having it. It says their silver and their gold won't save them on the day of the Lord's anger. It will neither satisfy nor feed them, for their greed can only trip them up. All right, so basically what is you people that the scriptures tell you, for the love of money is the root of all evil. That's why you people are in the predicament you in, because you love this man's system so goddamn much. All right, you ready to die for this thing, man. And how do we know that? Because what did Charles Schwab say? You will own nothing and be happy. And are you people protesting that? Is anybody coming against the elites? Where is the fucking riots, man? I want to see this shit. Where are you people at? You gonna let these devils just oppress you like that, and you just gonna allow it to happen? You gonna just let them take the rug from right underneath your feet? Well, obviously, because the scriptures speak about how you were blinded. All right, the scriptures tell you about how the Lord got the people, especially 2/3 of Israel, he got them in a blind state to where they can't see or perceive what's happening around them, because it says until when? You know, Isaiah 6 and 9. Isaiah asks, you know, how long shall this thing be? How long is the Lord's people, the Israelites, going to not be able to see the truth? And he said, what? Until the land be wasted without inhabitant. All right, so this is the end. After this economic collapse, after they bring in the MOTB, that's the end. The missiles are going to fly, man. World War III is going to go nuclear. It's already bubbling up. All right, it's already there. The pieces of the board is already set there. Now it's just a matter of the chess game. You know, their turn, your turn, their turn, your turn. So what they're doing is they're getting ready to bring this thing, man. And whether they do it through some type of false flag, what they call Black Swan event, you know, a cyber attack, aka, Well, that'd be beautiful, man, because that's the perfect scenario to bring in Jacob Trouble. Jacob Trouble is not only the economic collapse, it begins with the economic collapse and all the effects that come with that. That's what Jacob Trouble is. Famine. Due to famine, you do get pestilence. Due to famine and pestilence, you do get cannibalism and civil war in a nation. You get all type of events coming out just out of a cyber attack or EMP or something like that, man. The Great Reset. Everything is going to kick off once they initiate that Great Reset. And that's when all these troubling times and all these prophecies that we read about and how hard these times are going to be and how much pain and agony the people are going to be in, that's what's going to start it. That's when it's going to really begin, man, because it is a singular event, Jacob's Trouble, but it's going to happen over time, and we're in the buildup of it now. Things don't just happen overnight, all right? But guess what? When it does happen to these people in society, in America, especially these idiots, these Ameritards, all right, it is going to feel like it happened overnight because they're not prepared for it. They're not even considering that this is a reality that they're going to have to live in. They think America's just always going to be sweet. But 2020 showed you that already, man. And that's why I say, hey, keep your eyes out on March, because that's when they did the 2020 thing. That was in the month of March. All right, 2020, March 17th, I think it was, when, you know, they officially locked everything down. And you see how that further destroyed the economy, the fragile, weak economy that already is in place. It completely just, you know, we basically went into a recession, man. And we still feeling the effects of the lockdown, even though everything is so-called, you know, not locked down no more. And everything is back to normal. Nothing went back to normal. Nothing has been the same since 2020. All right. And they just going to hit you people with another blow. All right. So, yeah, Monday, January 15th, 2024, Davos 2024, the World Economic Forum. And then after that, Lord willing, going into February and March, man, just look for things to turn up. And drastically and change quickly. All right, because that's how it's going to be. When they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. So with that, I'm going to say, call hello, Yahweh Shemi Awashai. I hope and pray this was edifying to the elect. And Lord willing, I'll see you in the next lesson. Shalom.